How do you keep your soul from wilting under the grief when it's so close to home?
We have one of the most highest rate murder in the world. We even topped Chicago. A white world war, like democracy, and you become 45 and then suddenly you notice it's fake and it's nothing. My English EP that it's coming out, it's called in the name of the Father, the Imam, and John Lennon. Because of Tupac, I've learned English, but because of Biggie, I've learned how to tell a story, and that both of them helped me.
So people keep throwing around words like coexistence in their interviews. Then when I show up places, at dinner tables, oh, but coexistence, it's a very convenient term in the West. It's laced with privilege. It's like a feel-good fantasy from my perspective.
I used to do around 100 up to 150 shows a year. Since the 7th of October, I only performed twice. Yeah. I have a Jewish neighbor with a licensed weapon, and I have an Arab neighbor with an illegal weapon, because both of them are pointed at a normal guy like me. Both of them.
And then you ask rhetorically, like, how are you supposed to live next to people who see your suffering as justified or worse?
Welcome to Out Loud, the podcast where we explore how courage, creativity, and culture challenge the status quo. Today's guest is someone whose voice and verses have become a lifeline for a generation that refuses to be erased. Tamer Nafar is not just a rapper. He's a storyteller, a screenwriter, and an actor.
I'm going to start with the basics. How are you feeling today?
Bottom line said, it's beyond anger. It's like anger was at the beginning, but now you're letting go of the anger. Because now it's just sadness. I don't know what's the English word that it's beyond sadness. Or maybe we Palestinians should invent a new one. It's just insane the way the world is moving on while more than 2 million people are just...
I've been a fan of yours in a big part because of the way you perform and your creativity and how you open doors for so many people. But I'm also really a fan of your writing. And that's true for your lyrics, but also you once wrote that you used to believe art could change the world. But lately it feels more like an airplane black box, not there to save the flight, but to record the crash. And that really stuck with me. I'm curious, what made you come to that sort of realization?
I think in general that it's a good thing for any person to know its destiny, his tools, his powers and his limitations. I think this is very powerful. Even if it's just 0.001%, but you know it, then you're going to put your 100% in it. And yes, at the beginning, when we were kids, we started Arabic hip hop around 99. We're going to go on stages and tell the truth about Palestine, because back then in the Nakba, there wasn't cameras. So people don't know. And then suddenly the second Nakba is happening. A triple Nakba is happening. And then you suddenly meet white lies, the nice, polite one. But I mean the white people world lie, the hug, the democracy. It's all metaphors. It's all symbols. Just something for you to enjoy. Me sitting here, I'm a Palestinian living in Israel. Tamam? So for me, I perform, I make money. They take my taxes, and I don't see the taxes are invested back in my community, because we have one of the most highest rate murder in the world. We even topped Chicago. Police is not helping. They're just taking our fucking money. Can I say fucking?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
They take my fucking money. Unemployment, poverty, and now they are kicking people out of the Knesset, Arabs as well. So they're just taking the money. So I'm making shows. I make money. They take at least 30%, 40% of it, let's say. And if the money is not invested in my community, where does it go? It goes to Gaza. So you literally see that even if you want or you're not, then fuck you. You're going to be part of a system, a bigger system than you. This is very sad, but that's facing facts. That's how I feel. So that's the feeling that I felt, that it's just metaphors. It's just art. And no, it's not going to. What stops the world, what stops wars is power, oil, money, bondings. Come on, you all watched Game of Thrones. That's how it works.
Even though I'm a journalist There was a time in my life where I wanted to try to make more time to pursue creative things inspired by people like you. Something happened though after October 7th. My creativity was zapped and I'm not even living there. When you stopped making music for a bit and then you posted something online telling people maybe we should just stop for a bit and be sad
I
together.
didn't stop
and
making music.
You didn't stop making music, but maybe posting. Is that true?
Performing for a while.
Performing.
At the beginning, I didn't perform because we were stuck in a crossroad. Because, as I said, I'm a Palestinian living in Israel. Everybody who opens his mouth about Gaza, they would have arrested him. And then they opened only shows if it's going to be love songs and stuff like that. And no fucking way. Because it started on October. And then if you go November and December, we have a lot of shows because it's Christmas. There was a debate if we should do them or not. I was like, in a polite way, I just said, shut the fuck up. Because normally, if you think of it, if your neighbor died and you turn the music on, then your mom is going to tell you, what the ab? And back then it was 20,000 coffins. What to now? I must say that my creativity is tripling by the day. That's what I meant at the beginning. I call that conclusion, that insight is the day I discovered I was a sheep. That's what I call it. Yani, you woke up, they say COVID, you say, I don't believe in COVID. They say, okay, you don't believe, get vaccinated. No, I don't want to get, okay, then you cannot perform outside. Okay, fuck it, I'll get vaccinated. So the day I discovered my limitations, then I'm making wonders with the minimum tools that I have. Am I making sense?
You're making a lot of sense. It's funny. The song Tuz Tuz Zain, I don't know, maybe my perception was when that came out that you were, I don't know, it's like I can feel the creativity buzzing, but I'm wondering what inspired that song? I've always been curious about the context around it.
I'm not sure if it's whatever or fuck it. It's just, it is what it is. And it's like when you have your ideology, these ones that break only in case of needed, the emergency.
Yeah.
It's like you have it there for 20 years, 30 years, and suddenly when emergency happens, you go grab it and oh fuck, it's cartoon, it's plastic.
Yeah.
So you put your life on something that it's called values and humanity, and using words that they are fucking a white word like democracy, and you become 45 and then suddenly you notice it's fake and it's nothing, and what the fuck am I supposed to do now? What do you do now?
Yeah.
So back then it's like everything I dreamt of is Zen, everything is like Zen, and anyway I'm gonna die, so if you take a loan, I take triple loans to just fuck it.
I know what you mean.
It was the most dancey, desperate song. But it was very, I wanted to make it dancey as well, poppy and dancey.
Yeah, I like it. It was a much needed escape for me when it came out and kind of affirmed a lot of my emotions. You grew up in Lid, for people who don't know, right? Surrounded, if I'm not mistaken, by a lot of sort of poverty because of systemic neglect, racialized policing, like in the US. I'm curious, what do you remember vividly from your teenage years that made you turn into music?
I come from a family of musicians that I've never witnessed. There was a 10 years gap between when my family stopped doing music and me. But my dad, back in the 60s and the 70s, he was a pure hippie. He was into Bee Gees. He was into the Beatles. He doesn't understand English. My English EP that it's coming out, it's called In the Name of the Father, the Imam, and John Lennon. It's the whole story. He only had 2 CDs in his car. It was the Beatles and Abdul Basit. I don't know if you know Abdul Basit. No. Abdul Basit is one of the best Quran readers in the world. Abdul Basit.
Oh, yeah.
No, if I'm not wrong, I think he's Egyptian. I'm pretty sure he's Egyptian. So that's what he had. He had the Beatles and Abdul Basit. He was in between both worlds. I brought Tupac there. So I was into music. Of course, MTV was a thing back then. And Rotana was a thing. I was more into pop music, like Michael Jackson. I've watched Michael Jackson live in Tel Aviv in 91.
Wild.
Before BDS. Thank God there was no BDS back then, because Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson. But the first one that brought hip-hop to the house, I would say my brother Suhail. He got into the Fresh Prince, and he was having that boombox and dancing breakdance. So Sohail brought hip hop more.
And you were learning English by translating Tupac lyrics, is that true?
Yes.
With a dictionary?
Yes, I don't know what you call it. But English was the best because of Tupac. And because of the way to tell the story. Because of Tupac, I've learned English, but because of Biggie, I've learned how to tell a story. And that both of them helped me.
So was there something that drew you to Tupac in particular, just that he's poetic?
Yeah. The one that got me more into Tupac was the song It's a White Man's World. Wow, I've used the white man world 3 times. I didn't plan it, but you asked me.
Yeah.
You're planting racism in my...
Okay, I'm planting.
I got it. And I was like, yeah, okay, then he's gonna talk about that the white people are controlling the world, but the song is a feminine song. That's what grabbed me. It's that catch. It's how he hooked me. Oh, it's a white man's world, so it's a song about black people. No, if it's a white man's world, then the one that it's under it is a white man, is a black woman. I was just enthusiastic by the way that he manipulated me into the song, that cleverness. But Tupac is more direct. But when I got into more hip hop and I've learned about wordplays and metaphors and allegories, I was like, damn, this is because people think that I like hip hop because of the fuck the police. Because no, I like. I love hip hop because of lines like "real G's move in silence," like in Lasagna. Like I think that's a brilliant line because it's a silent G.
Yeah.
You wouldn't sell a double album. Even you wouldn't sell 2 CDs even if you press a double album. For punchlines and for allegories, and that what makes me keep writing, looking for that cleverness.
They did it with so much finesse back in the day. So with your music, it's taken you far outside of the Holy Land, right? You've toured all over the world. You've been on stages in Berlin, London, Sundance.
It's just giving $1 million to someone who don't know what money is. We just didn't know where to cash it. We didn't understand it. Suddenly we are signed to a label. We don't know. We were the first ones here to sign, and we were kids. I was around 18, 19. Mahmoud was 17, and Sohail was 14, 15. And suddenly we are...
Yeah. Wow.
Suddenly we are standing on stage in front of 5,000 people, not all cocky and not understand, thinking that it will last forever.
It's funny that you say not understanding the music and the business. What's it like for you, or when you've performed outside of the Holy Land, like outside of where you're from, and then you return home, and I'm sure you perform there all the time, right? But you're returning to a system that more than ever before, as you said at the beginning, is very like overtly showing you and the world that it's trying to erase you one way or another, or erase your thoughts. Or
it's a matter of volume as well.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between the year 2000 and 2025. There's a huge difference. Yeah. Back then we could have juggled. Like, if you go back to one of my videos, Ibn Lid, there's a making of. I did it, I think, around 2021, 2022. I decided where they wanted to author a law where you are not allowed to carry a Palestinian flag in certain places. So I decided to get a flag and just go around the settlement.
On the bicycle.
Yeah, on the bicycle. And I checked it with the lawyer. I'm not dumb, of course. I checked it with the lawyer, and I knew it was legal, and I knew how to do it. And I got stopped 6 times. And over there, you can see in the video that there's as I said, this is one of the most criminal cities in the world. It got the highest drug market in the Middle East even. So there's literally a drug dealing happening in front of us. We captured it on the camera while the police is not giving a fuck about nothing against that dictatorship against Palestinians. But after the 7th of October, riding a bike with a Palestinian flag, you minimum, on the good scenario, you might be arrested. On the worst scenario, you might be shot. So now we are in the era where we are trying to find different tools. Faham?
People keep throwing around words like coexistence in their interviews. Then when I show up places, at dinner tables, oh, but coexistence. It's a very convenient term in the West. It's laced with privilege. It's like a feel-good fantasy from my perspective. I know you've said you can't talk about coexistence if the system you're talking about doesn't let you exist. What does that mean to you? What's it like for people who might be listening, who've never had to fight to exist in their own hometown. I think they recently tried to cancel a Christmas concert. Is that what you were organizing?
No, I just
A few years.
no. I used to do around 100 up to 150 shows a year. Since the 7th of October, I only performed twice. Forget about shows here. I'm performing outside, but here,
Yeah.
they used to not get, if you want to do a show here, you got to have permits from the police, not just me, Jews, everyone, because you need people from the crowd, ambulances, and you're bringing a few thousand people. So you need to make sure that they go home safe. What happened is we used to apply for a permit and they used to say no. So we had a month or two to work that permits out legally. After the 7th of October, they give you a permit, and 2 months before, and they cancel it on the day of the show. And they just leave you with your dick in your hand. You just do nothing. You don't do the show. That's it. And they say it's because of logistics. And like they said sometimes, I remember one of the stupidest cancellation was we booked a place that can fit 600 people. And they canceled me 2 days before because they said they are scared more than 1,000 will come. This is fucking amazing. Then book another show on the same day. And if you can't, then just let the 600 ones with the tickets in and the ones that doesn't have tickets just go home. That's how life. That will be beautiful. We will shoot it. We will show people that it's working. No, we can't. And they just canceled me. And they said it's not happening. 5 days after, Ben-Gvir tweeted, I was so happy to cancel the show of the anti-Semitic rapper Tamer Nafar. So it's faham. And I don't mind. You know what? I don't fucking mind. Cancel me. I'm not begging for. Fuck you. But I don't want to perform. Fuck it. People are dying. Fuck my microphone. Okay? But you're taking half of my money and it should come to culture. Part of the taxes goes to culture. If you're not going to give me culture, then give me more money back.
Trying to build a bridge. I mean, you say fuck your microphone, but like you're a conduit for so many people, not just Palestinians. I assume you know this, but there's a lot of people who, through discovering you, even though you rap in Arabic, especially on social media, people even contact me and, they think you started last year, with all due respect, because, they're like living under a rock. And so they're learning through your music plainly, without putting too much opinion. Is Israeli democracy real? Is it a myth in your mind and your lived experience?
Israeli democracy was, we said it for people who think that I started last year. We delivered an album back in 2006. 2006, the first official album, it's called Dedication, with Dan, me, Ahmed, and so on. And there's a line there, I'll translate, it was like, Israel it is a Zionist democracy. It's democracy for Jews and it's Zionist for Arabs, for the rest. بس كمان مرة the word democracy is, I'm talking now قبل the 7th of October.
Yeah.
We have there's a lot of ways to be democracy on the outside and not to be. I'll try to find a nice analogy. Is he a good husband? Yeah, there's food in the fridge and he buys her Julie. Yeah, I know he beats the shit out of her, but it's
what I'm trying to get at is, you just described before October 7th, but I wonder, in your day-to-day life as a Palestinian, you have Israeli citizenship, you're from there, you're living there. I'm sure things have changed and gotten worse, and you've described it, you've written about it for +972, but in basic terms that are relatable to anybody anywhere in the world.
No.
What can you share from your day-to-day life that sort of proves that this democracy isn't exactly...
I'd say that before we had the biggest problems of housing. For you to build a house, you need to have a permit. For you to have a permit, you need to have an infrastructure for each neighborhood. And since 1948, 0 infrastructures for Arabs and 5,000 for Jews. You just go and you apply for the papers, but they will tell you, your hood is not infrastructured yet. Come back when it happens. So you have the right to go on stage and talk about it. I did that, and I did it in Hebrew. I did it. We had that freedom of speech. Of course, it's a volume thing. It was coming. It was fading out. But now I felt that we lost that right of speech. And now, as I see, almost not losing the right of voting. You will still have the right of vote, but the Knesset members that you like are not going to be there. So
Yeah.
you vote for what we pick for you.
It's a veneer. To me,
I'll
it's a veneer. Yeah.
I'll tell you the difference. Back then, we used to fight for housings until now and for freedom of speech. But my feeling now is that the most vulnerable thing is our body, the physical one, not the ideology, the physical one. I feel threatened on my body. Like, because if this go, then you won't fight for freedom. You just go, you just vanish. I feel that this nowadays, our struggle is to keep that body working.
Yeah.
On the 7th of October, I think around, if I'm not wrong, more than 40,000 Jews were armed, civilians.
Yeah.
I have a Jewish neighbor with a licensed weapon, and I have an Arab neighbor with an illegal weapon, because both of them are pointed at a normal guy like me. Both of them. There's that physicality. That's what I feel. And because you're seeing, maybe because I'm seeing the ashla and the pieces in Gaza being, you just see them, you watch them, you share them, you write about them. I follow you, I admire your work. If I want to write something, there are like 5 people that I search for. I don't wait for your story to pop. I search for, this is what I want to write about. So maybe that's why I feel physicality more than anything now.
No, that makes sense. Speaking of physical bodies being endangered or attacked or erased, in May 2021, your neighbor, Musa, I think a father of 2, was killed by Israeli settlers. What did that moment do for you personally? Forget politically.
Oh, this is when the ideology started fading. Because if you go back to these days, I was very verbalized the whole thing when it happened. And I had an idea, because we had a lot of settlers. You want short answers, right? It's better for...
No.
What I did back then is they sent us a message that said that the city is going into curfew around 5. So I just had 1 hour. So I'll go to the city and I'll get me something. Anxiety pops. I was like, what is the worst thing in anxiety? Alcohol. So I need to make it worse. So I went to bring alcohol, shwayet wine, just to relax.
Yeah.
And I've seen settlers, but not the ones in Lit, but the ones that were like from the Nablus and like the one from the outside. Like, they look different.
True.
They're from outside of Lit. If a police stop me now and something, I can argue with him. Like, I got 99 problems, but I can. But there was something in their eyes that was so absolute. It was scary. You asked me to be honest. Scary. And because I had my cap and I have a good English, I was like, hey, what up, brother? How you doing? So he knew I'm not an Arab. He's like, hey, how are you? I was like, I just got a message. Got a message that told me that we are in curfew. And he left. It's like, don't worry, it's not for us. Okay. I went home. All of the Arabs are in the houses. Suddenly, you hear screams, death to the Arabs, death to the Arabs. Hundreds, tons of settlers, mostly from outside of Lid, with short Uzis around our neighborhoods, screaming death to the Arabs, and they are escorted by the cops. Same fucking cops that they are taking my money. So I decided to document it. You can look for Tamer Nafar viral phone call. And it says like, 2021 was the area of documentation, because it started with Munal Kurd, Jacob, this is Maitri, and then everybody was documented. Vloggers were the Muqawimin back then. So I was like, okay, let's document this call. They called the cops and was like, I'm paying you taxes, and we have dozens screaming death to the Arabs, and they are armed. She's like, yes, we know. It's like, yeah, I know you know. You are guarding them. You are guarding armed people, protecting them from unarmed people. And I'm here with my wife and 2 kids. I'm not armed. She gave me the attitude to fuck you. It is what it is. And they had that vibe. It's like, you deserve it because you betrayed the Jewish. You betrayed the city. You betrayed the country. So when I hung up the phone, I noticed that most of my neighbors are scared, except the drug dealers who have guns. Suddenly, that frame in emergency, you break it, and then you break it, and It's just fake. It's been hanging in the air. Your whole ideology of art, when talk about what is happening, you build everything, and suddenly you look and you just feel good that you have a drug dealer in the neighborhood because he might protect you, not the police and not your microphone. I'm talking about a crisis with identity, artistic identity, that were very fucking hard for me as a human being, as somebody who's creating.
Not so long after, in 2023, in February, you posted that your cousin Sammy was murdered, part of a wave of violence that no one talks about. And you wrote something like, "Death is walking in our gardens every hour, ripping our most beautiful flowers." I'm just curious, like, I'm Palestinian. I feel pain when strangers die in Gaza or in the West Bank. I feel it because I'm empathic. But how do you keep your soul from wilting under the grief when it's so close to home? Is it your creative process that keeps you afloat? Because I'm wondering, a lot of people might drown.
You go to therapy, brother. Just go to therapy, Habibi. You just go to therapy and you ask.
I'm so happy to hear you say that, because, and even you speak about therapy. I think
songs,
it's so important.
yeah, I think therapy is. I went to therapy because how the fuck I'm not crying? How the fuck I'm just Why am I functioning? Am I not human? I'm not. I don't love my friends who died in front of me. How come? Why are they crying and I'm not crying? And in that self, I'm not going to open a Will Hunting scene now, but as you just go and you ask yourself questions, because yes, you function and you create and you're so brave, but it comes out in different ways. It comes out in different ways that are not cool. The body signals. Yeah, because when you if you because you only have one entrance, and if you put what do you call that guy in the clubs? The security, the bouncer. You don't tell him, don't let the fear in, and that's it. No emotions in, so no love, no ability to give.
I can relate.
Yeah,
and I know so many people can. Honestly, I really respect you for a lot of reasons. One of them being, I respect the hell out of, particularly men from our part of the world. I mean, I think more people need to do therapy,
brother,
I do want to say,
Palestinians now should take care of their body. The soul will come after.
Yeah,
it's now the physicality.
And by the way, as fun as some of your songs are, they're so smart. But all that grief that might be stuck and not channeling through, for me, it's very accessible in your sound, like in your music. I feel like it's all there in a form or another. I don't want to quote your own words back to you, but I do for the sake of the listeners. After October 7th and when the genocide began, you wrote something that really chilled me. I think it was in +972. You said, "We Palestinian citizens of Israel will be living beside people who sexually abused Palestinian prisoners in State Tamer prison. Yeah, beside the right-wing extremists who called them heroes, and beside the cowardly leftists who simply prefer they don't do such things while The Hague is watching." And then you ask rhetorically, like, how are you supposed to live next to people who see your suffering as justified or worse? I want to bring it back to this idea of coexistence, which is like a buzzword that they love to throw around in the halls of power in the West. But how is that playing out? The social fabric of your community, how does it feel when people try to flatten this struggle, whether it's about both sides or like you must condemn the violence or like coexistence? Like, how do you just block it out and you just do you and you live in your little community?
No, I think my career is almost 26 years old. Ma'am. In one of the first songs that we did in Hebrew back in 2002, if you want to talk about coexistence, it's one existence and the other existence, right? It's two people existing.
Yeah.
And okay, how then let's coexist by me existing in the anthem, by me existing in the flag, by me existing as an official language, by me existing as a trauma. We just spoke about therapy. يعني ايش الفلسطينية بدهم? What are we the Palestinians? If you want to talk about Western terms, what does a Palestinian want other than lay on the fucking couch and say, I've been through trauma? ايش بدنا? Before you don't go to a shrink and he gives you a solution. He tells you before the solution, let's just talk.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a shrink and listen, I've been through a trauma. And he's, no, you haven't. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
we are giving high standards to the West, because maybe we shouldn't let them pick the words that we want to argue on. It's coexistent. And then you go and you spend like a day or two on a song to explain why it's not coexistence. Just, it's coexistence. Yeah, okay, صباح حبيبي. يلا. Alhamdulillah. Give me 2 burgers وحل عن قاري. And I don't have a new language, but I'm saying is they gave us fake things, and we are so busy explaining and unburying these tools. Now I'm facing emptiness because I don't have different ones, but at least I want to get rid of that shit. But I believe in a term, something that happened before the 7th of October. I believe in a term that I call coexistence. Because I believe that between Jews and Palestinians who really want to change the situation, it should be coexistence. And it's not about let's both live together. It's about let's make sure that the Palestinian people exist. One of the most beautiful things, like if a guy comes to the hospital and his right arm is bleeding, he was like, okay, let's wrap all of your body. No, just fucking take care of this. And we are bleeding. So everybody who's coexisting, well, if you go to the hashtag Me Too, it wasn't it's about the equality between men and women. No, it's about women. Shut the fuck up. It's not your story now. It's not your narrative. You are not in danger. You're not being raped at the same amount. Police don't shoot everyone. They shoot black people. So either you come and stand for black people, or you just خلاص روح انت روح. So coexistence. Jews should stand now, as it's happening in the US. I see a lot of movements like this, right?
The youth in the US are, if it weren't for them, I'd be hopeless that things can change. But I do want to kind of just give you a chance to just real talk to me. The first time when I went to, where did I go? Jaffa.
Yeah.
I was 24. I was 20.
When?
Huh? I was 24. I went to Skandar's wedding, Skandar Kapti's wedding. That was my first time back to Palestine. Yeah, long story. But the point of me telling you that is, I guess
I just wrote a piece. I can't remember when. I picked Ajami as my favorite.
Ajami as your favorite
movie.
What? It's amazing. I went there, and there were a lot of Israeli Jews who would look at me and speak to me in Hebrew. I had a shaved head, and they were thinking I was. The Palestinians on the other side would come, and they'd see the way I'm dressed, the way I'm talking English, my Arabic shway mkassar, and they're like, "You're not really Palestinian." Do you feel, based on your lived experience, that there is this sort of weird hierarchy, for better or worse, and it's maybe the product of divide and conquer, but the ones living in the West Bank or a certain part of the West Bank, the ones living in Gaza, the ones in the West and the diaspora, maybe like me, the ones who have other nationality and privileges, the ones like you who are trapped maybe between privilege and punishment because you have the Israeli citizenship. Because sometimes it feels sick to say this, but there's like a correlation with, like, speaking of the Western narrative, how Palestinian you are is like how much you've suffered, how much you've endured in the struggle for liberation. And I'm not trying to put any judgment here, but do you feel like that's a reality of Palestinian society?
I'm not going to judge the ones that are being romanticizing the cause and going like, no, we are all Palestinians, we are all the same. And I'm not going to judge the ones who are deciding who's a Palestinian more and who's a Palestinian less.
Fair enough.
I'm going to be me, Tamer. I feel that we are all Palestinians, and us having that argument or that marking, that giving marks, you are this, you are that, this is what a shattered society means. That's when you are broken to pieces. Why is he in Ramallah? Is it because he decided to why is this guy in Gaza? Why did this guy left led and went to Gaza?
Yeah.
For me, we are all Palestinians. And for me, I can also understand Palestinians who are living in the diaspora and envy me because I still live here. But at the same time, if I look at the 7th of October, after the 7th of October, I can see I'm being very honest. We are fucking here. They are shutting us up, trying to shut us up. They arrest us. They look what they did to the Abu Amir. And now suddenly the Palestinians who are living in Palestine are not doing any shows. And then you see Palestinians in the diaspora doing 5 fucking shows a day. Then you're like, oh, fuck, we are the one that dying and they are taking all the film. So there are demons that wakes up. Being honest, Habibi.
Look, man, you're not the only one who's feeling these things deep, right? That's
But
why I feel
there's a guy now in Gaza that is like, look at that guy doing fucking podcasts because he have the time. I don't have
True.
electricity. Yeah, I can understand that. But that's part of frustration. And sometimes I feel when you cannot beat the occupation, then you just turn and you just want to throw your frustration to whatever. Yeah.
And speaking of channeling that frustration and rage with qahr or everything, if someone's listening to this and they're helpless or they're hopeless, what can you share with us about what you're looking forward to or what's next for you? What's exciting you? If you have the capacity for that maybe would inspire other people. What fuels you right now? Hope, rage, I don't know, exhaustion?
Well, for me, it's work. You wake up, you go to the office, and you write. That's work. يعني هاي الاستوديو I don't fucking enjoy it, but I think it's work. خلاص. Honestly, I enjoy writing anything but music now, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I am, because I've been for the last 2-3 years I'm writing articles every week, and there are no rules.
True.
You don't need rhymes. You don't let go of a line because of a melody.
Yeah,
you run
I get
naked
it.
free. You just write 500 things. It's like, fuck, I want to write more. As well, I'm going to release, signed with the Metropolitan, the American one, for 2 novels. So I'm writing 2 novels now.
Man.
One will be released in, what are we now, 2025 or 2026?
Yeah.
5? So next summer, I think 2026, my first novel will come out, and the one a year after, a graphic novel will come out. And I'm working with an amazing Lebanese illustrator called Gracie Kahawan. In the novel, you go, you just talk, and you write stories. And then at night, I was like, it's music time. I'm sorry, I still enjoy music. I'm just saying it's frustrating. You just write everything, and then you come here, and you write, and then the productions, I love those 16 bars. I need them in 4 bars now. But what I'm saying is I'm writing. This is what it's keeping me sane, writing. This is my new therapy. This is the tool that I'm using. Because, as I said, that's what I know. I wish I knew something else. I wish I could break sieges. I wish my talent was to break siege and give food to people. I fucking wish. I would have trained it like this.
Well, listen, because you have this really beautiful talent, if this mic, this crappy computer mic, were the last mic you'd ever rap into, what might like a final verse say, regardless of the 16 or 4 bars? Is there a line or a verse in your mind that you keep coming back to, whether it's yours or someone else these days?
Yeah, a love project. I want to make an album about relationships, about therapy, and about being in love with a person that you know that your responsibility to make it work is to, you come with your parents' trauma and she comes with her parents' trauma, and your problem and your mission is to heal together or to accept it. I just want to make an album about relationships, honestly. I just want to make an album about relationships, like a mature relationship. مش انتي قلبي انتي عمري يا قمر. About the routine, about the painful things, about the obstacles in relationships, about the fears, about the ego, about when to cancel yourself, about all these small things. I really want to do that. Every time I say I want to make a relationship album, a melodic relationship album, and shit happens.
Shit gets in the way.
When we started rapping, we were very angry because all the time they were like, so you are doing rap because Palestine. I was like, no, I fell in love. I've been battling that since 99. Every time I stand on stage, it's like, we are fucking artists before everything. If you close your eyes and forget that we are from Palestine and you go into the lyrics, into the punchlines, you'll see how brilliant it is and how creative it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Go into those, even the ones that are nothing to do with politics, even just the creativity in it.
For sure.
But after the 7th of October, because of the physicality happens, we stood on stage, I think it was in Spain. I was like, for the first time after 26 years old of battling it, I think that now I'm a Palestinian before an artist. Because my art is not in danger as much as my identity as a Palestinian to extinct. To extinct, not the identity, to extinct as a human being, as flesh and blood. And then I stopped. I have 4 or 5 songs of relationships that I delayed because it's not the time.
All in due time. And I'm sure many people would be excited. And speaking of time, I feel like we're in a time when language, like as a journalist or whatever I am, when language fails and politics, which my mom raised me to always say politics is so filthy, please don't get, but everything's politics, but it all feels bankrupt, right? And so it's, I mean, really, Tamer, people like you, I know you know this, I'm not blowing smoke at you, but like your voice, even if it's on the gram or because people are listening to your songs or because you are one day going to be able to perform again, you really remind us that art is not just sacred, like you were just describing, but it doesn't necessarily change or fix things. But for me, what I really appreciate and value about what you do is you help us feel the things. Like that's to me what really good artists do, right? They help me feel or make sense of my feelings. And you don't have to pay them like you do a therapist. So that's the beauty in it.
Don't worry. Shukran.
And especially now, it's all the more
But shukran
important.
so important.
No, it's the truth, man. It's really the truth. And I want to thank you again for joining me. And keep in mind, Anna, I'm going to cut this all down. But is there anything you want to let the homies know that I haven't asked you?
Just keep, a lot of creations are happening. There's an album coming out, as I said, in the name of the Father, the Imam, and John Lennon. I think it's in English, my first EP in English. And it's one of the most beautiful songs that I've ever made. It's very personal. It's about my dad. And it's very funny because somehow he's, as I said, my dad is a big fan of John Lennon. So now he's in heaven with John Lennon, even though John Lennon doesn't believe in heaven. But fuck him, it's my dad's heaven. It's like, why do you listen to... I love the Beatles, but it's just a joke of it. It's like, why would you listen to a guy that says, imagine, that a British guy telling me, imagine there's no country? You don't have to imagine that. They literally took the country and gave it away. So why the fuck do you listen to them?
I'm assuming he might have been on acid when he was...
Yeah, I know. But the whole idea of, look, I love to imagine that there are no countries and borders, but I have to free Palestine to be freed from Palestine. I have to free my nation to be freed from my nation, because it's a privilege thing.
That's wow.
It's the whole conversation of the song is me telling Dad that it's like Tupac, Biggie, and Nas and Ove are way bigger than the Beatles, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's just it's a relationship song, but it has a lot of politics. So it's a full album, and it's my English. And if you're not allergic for accents, then play it. If you're allergic for accents, then just...
You're doing so much, and I didn't know you were writing novels as well, and then a graphic novel. You're making me feel like I gotta get back to the things that motivate me. But man, that's why I love you. You're so inspiring, and I really want to thank you again for taking the time.